host for tonight. 2 hours of straight talk, uninterrupted talk. You know, we're accustomed to this, and we're going to have a wonderful time. First of all, let me bring the apologies of the Honorable Mark Brantley, who is the normal host of the show. He could not be here with us tonight. I know he wanted to be here, but, parliamentary duties. For those of you who've been following what's going on in the Federation, we had a sitting of the Federal Parliament today, and of course we know that the Honourable Mark Brantley is the member for Nevis 9, so he had to be in Parliament today, and Parliament went on until very late in the afternoon. But we'll talk a little bit about that. I have a few notes jotted down here to speak a little bit about that. So he sends his apologies, but you know, here on the mark, we have a lot of hosts. And when one person can't make it, you know, another one fill in, and we bring something different to the table. And we believe that we bring a very, very good show, and it's an opportunity also for the public to interact with somebody different. Most of us now, we are in government, so it gives the public that opportunity to interact with different ministers on different times. So tonight is my turn. I'm in the hot seat. I'm hosting, and I'm hopeful that we're going to get a lot of questions tonight. I know there was one person who said the next time I'm on the mark. He put something out on Facebook. Facebook seems to be the hot thing these days. So this cousin of mine said next time I'm on the mark, he's going to call in and shoot this hard question at me. So I'm going to be looking forward to that hard questions. I don't like easy questions. When I was in school, I never used to like easy exams. I enjoyed the hard, challenging exams, so I'm looking forward to these hard questions tonight. There's a lot happening in the Federation, so there's a lot to talk about. We're in the independence spirit. For those watching on YouTube and on Facebook, I'm going to ease up a little bit, not so far up that you can see the belly, but just up far enough that you can see that I am wearing my, oh my God. You hearing me? Okay. That I am wearing, I just had a little issue when I got up, you know, that you can see that I'm wearing my 869 shirt, and the young people tell me that this is the in thing, that this is the hip thing, and I still think that I'm in the young crowd, you know? So I want to be, don't shake your head, I'm coming to you. So I want to be in my 869 shirt, and I think the name of the entrepreneurs is Paradise Clothing, and so I'm going to encourage everybody to go on out and support them. We have some young entrepreneurs in Nevis. You know what I like about young people? Young people can change the world, you know, by doing very, very simple things. You know, taking t-shirts and doing designs and so on, starting a little company to do that. And the designs that we're seeing are so hip, you know. And I was told that, you know, if you need a good shirt, get these 869 shirts. They're in style, so I want to be in style. This one looks so good. I'm going to try to get a few more. I want to thank my my shopper. I have a shopper who says that they're keeping me in tune. They don't want me going out looking out of style. So I want to thank my shopper for ensuring that I was in style for the concert that we had the other night. And you know, I got so many compliments that I decided to make sure I get the shirt washed, dried, and I can wear it here tonight and on the mark again. So go on out and support Paradise Clothing with the 869 line of clothes, their line of shirts, and whatever else they do. You know, we need to support all of our young people. And of course, I'm in the young crowd, so I want to support my own. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On The Mark. This is Charlie, but I'm in one of those happy moods. If you can see, I'm smiling. It's independence. We're celebrating 36 years of independence here in the Federation, and that's reason to be happy. I had a really, really good day today. Moved around to a few of the schools. Indeed, the Honorable Mark Brantley himself, he got around earlier today before he had to go to St. Kitts to the house, and a few of the other ministers, Minister Spencer Brand, I met up with him at the Charlestown Primary School this morning, where there was a wonderful Independence Patriotic concert. And I went around to a few more schools, and hopefully, as the show goes on, I'll be able to talk a little bit about that. But happy Independence to everybody. We just celebrated Heroes Day. Um, Happy Heroes Day to everybody. And we could talk a little bit about Heroes Day because some people have been calling me and saying, oh, I think more people should be heroes, not just politicians. So when the lines are open, this will be the forum to discuss all of these things. Because if you never talk, nobody will know what's in your mind. And so I always look forward to the talk. Of course, this is the top of the show, and I'm rambling on and on without doing what we normally do at the top of the show. And that's to welcome in all of you, our listeners, our viewers. Of course, if you are listening, then you're tuned to 860, the Caribbean's only powerhouse, Vaughan Radio. And if you're not listening by conventional radio, then you're probably tuned in on Facebook. We're up to the times here at Vaughan Radio, so you can not only listen to me, you can see me. You can see my 869 shirt. And if you're not on Facebook, then you can view us on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com, type in Vaughan Radio. And then, if you're not watching us via any of those media, then you can also go on computer and go to www.vaughanradio.com, and you can listen to the stream. That's if you're overseas. And that's what we used to do. When I was in New York for a long time going to school, that's how I stayed connected to home, listening to On the Mark on a Wednesday night. Whatever I was doing, I will admit that from time to time I would be in school because I had late classes sometimes on a Wednesday night, being in school till 10, 11 in the night. People who in college would know about this. And so sometimes I'm in class and I sneak a listen to On the Mark to hear what's going on. you know.
Yeah.
I have a guest in the studio. I'll introduce her soon, and she is shaking her head because she knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because this is how you stay connected to the home front. So now I want to welcome in all of our listeners, those listening from the four corners of the world. We have people over in Taiwan, and I think it's morning for you all. I want to say good morning to all of you, and thanks for tuning in, and happy independence to all of you. Of course, in the UK and other parts of Europe, we have a lot of Nivisions and Kititians in the UK, and a lot of them call me. I have a lot of family over there, and I want to say good night to you all. I know it's the wee hours of the night, maybe like 1, 2 o'clock around there for you, and some of you stay up, or you even go to sleep, set your clock to alarm, and you wake up to be with us here on the Mark, and we value you, and we want to thank you. Of course, here in the Western Hemisphere, where it's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 7 p.m., depending on where you are, we value you, and we want to welcome all of you in, folks in New York, Connecticut, in Toronto, in California, in Texas, in Florida, in Georgia, wherever you are in the United States or Canada. We welcome all of you here in the Caribbean. If you're in Cuba, if you're in Jamaica, if you're in where else we have up north in the Caribbean, British Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, wherever you are. If you're in St. Martin, if you're in the Lower Islands, Barbados, Grenada, Dominica, St. Lucia, and if you're all the way down in Guyana, I want to welcome all of you. On the Mark is our show. Of course, I want to send out some prayers to the good people of the Bahamas. We know that not so long ago they would have suffered, under what was just a terrible, terrible storm, for a hurricane to be at Category 5 and to just sit down literally over you for 2 days without moving, that had to be heart-wrenching. And so our prayers go out to you in the Bahamas, and I know that all of our islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, no different, from Guyana come straight up. Everybody is trying to pitch in, to lend a helping hand. We know that you're suffering, and we know that there is only so much that we can do. But, our hearts go out to you in the Bahamas. Of course, while our hearts are going out to the Bahamas, we must start to look to our own defenses here in St. Kitts and Nevis and in these other islands, because the storms are coming off the western shore of Africa fast and furious. Only on the weekend, I was looking at one of those weather apps, and I have about 6 weather apps on my phone now, because it's that time of year when you need to know what's going on with the weather. And currently, there is a system that's on its way towards us, and the projected path is that it will pass just a little bit above us, but we should not be complacent, because it's saying, the path is saying that it's going to pass above us, because most of the storm is to the south. By looking at the satellite. Now everybody with a phone can look at the satellite, so you can see where the storm is. So the center is located to the northeast of the storm, and a big part of the storm goes to the south. So even though they're saying that the center of the storm will pass above us, then it is highly likely that we're going to get a bit of the storm. And then we all know that these storms can change their track in the blink of an eye. So we need to be prepared. We know that these storms can be projected to come through at Category 1, and then when you look, it's a Category 3 or Category 4 overnight. So, we will continue to pray for the best, but we really, really need to prepare. And, we have been lucky here in the Federation, and we hope that that luck will hold out. Everybody, we're a Christian community, so everybody who goes to church and pray will say that it is their prayers who would have kept the storm off. But I believe that everybody in every island prays, and from time to time the storms come and they hit the island. So we will continue to pray and we will continue to hope, but I think it is important that we also prepare. Now, I don't have any funeral announcements, but I'm sure, because life is an ebb and flow, I'm sure we would have lost 1 or 2 persons. So I want to send out my condolences to those families who have suffered loss over the past week or 2. And I want to tell you all to hold on, because you're not alone. And we are a community here in Nevis, and your pain is our pain. So we want to send out our condolences to all of you who have suffered loss. Of course, where there are lows, there will also be highs. I mean, you have valleys, but you also have mountains. And so while some persons are suffering and having cause to feel bad, there are others who might have had some sort of triumph, and are celebrating. So I want to say from here that we celebrate with all of you, those celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, the birth of a child, or whatever your cause for celebration. We here at On The Mark, we celebrate with you. I want to send out a special belated birthday greeting to someone very dear to me and someone very special to me. My dad, he celebrated his birthday yesterday. I know these guys, after a while, they don't want anybody to know when their birthday coming. They just want to continue living and not have birthdays, But I want to send a big shout out to my dad on his birthday. That was yesterday. I'm not going to tell anybody how old he is. Mr. Jonathan Leiber, affectionately known as Sunder, or some people call him Wug. So big birthday shout out to you. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On The Mark, and I've been talking. I have a guest in the studio with me, Ms. Chevene Nisbet from the Health Promotion Unit. Chevene, welcome to On The Mark. The last time I was here, you were here also, and you were given some pertinent information, and I think you're here to follow up on that information. So good night, welcome, and please feel free to share with the general public.
Good night, Troy. Thank you for having me on the Mac. It's a pleasure to be here as always. And also, I'd like to tell my viewing and listening audience, happy independence. As you said, we're celebrating 36 years of independence, and that's something worth celebrating. So I just want to wish everyone happy independence. As you said earlier, the reason for my being here tonight is to basically give a recap of what I came to speak about the last time, and to also remind individuals about the other activity that we have. So I am here to talk about Caribbean Wellness Day and Wellness Week, and we at the Health Promotion Unit we had a week of activities that we celebrated, or we put together for Caribbean Wellness Day and Wellness Week. Caribbean Wellness Day is celebrated on the second Saturday in September every year, and that this year was the September the 14th, Saturday, September 14th, which was last Saturday, and that was under the Caribbean Wellness Day took place under the theme Healthy Aging, and the slogan was Healthy Aging starts now. And then Wellness Week celebrated from the 14th of September until the 21st of September, and that is celebrated under the theme Strengthening Key Healthy Settings, and the slogan for that was Building Healthy Schools. So I would like to give a recap of the events that we had, and basically tell everyone how they went. So our first event was Friday the 13th of September. We had Sneaker Day. That was last Friday, and everyone was encouraged to wear their sneakers and take pictures, post it to our Facebook page, and hashtag Sneaker Day 2019, as well as they were encouraged to come to our office, take pictures with our backdrop, indulge in our healthy food station, our healthy snack station. And it was actually a good turnout. Every year we get more and more individuals participating. So we had quite a few members come into our office. We actually had the Premier, Mr. Brand, and a few other members of the cabinet. I don't remember seeing you, Troy. Were you there?
I didn't come, and here's my reason. I heard the premier speaking about Sneaker Day, and he was saying that he feel like he's gonna win and all of that. So early in the morning, I went on Facebook because the premier loves to be on Facebook and so on. So I saw his picture and I saw his sneakers and so on, and I felt like his sneaker game was weak. So
No
so
comment.
so if you notice, I didn't bother to take any pictures of my sneakers and post them because I was actually wearing a new pair of red and white Air Max. I don't even remember which Air Max it
So
was.
you would have knocked him out the
But
water.
yeah,
And you
but
were afraid of
my
that.
sneaker game was, as the young people say, my sneaker game was on point.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
and so I didn't want to burst his bubble. So being a good foot soldier like I
You took the
am,
back seat.
I decided to just
But you could at
you
least
know,
pass by,
I
Troy.
decided to, yeah, but somebody in your office might have take a picture of my sneakers, and then everybody
You're
would have
right.
said his sneaker game is on. And then I didn't want him to
So
feel
you
bad because
spared him?
yeah, I heard him here saying that he gonna win this sneaker thing, and I felt bad for him that he didn't win last year. So I wanted him to win this year. I hope he win.
He did not.
He didn't win.
No.
Oh my, poor
He came
fellow.
long after the first person. Really,
Way in
really
the
long
back.
after
Oh.
the first person. Yeah, so he wasn't successful this year either, but he did make an effort. In his defense, he did make an effort.
So it's the effort that counts.
Yes, the effort, he got an A for
I want
effort.
everybody to remember that it's the effort that counts. E
Yeah.
for effort.
Yeah, A for effort.
You got an A. Well, but that was my reasoning.
Right.
When I looked at it, I realized, go continue.
Yeah, so on that day, we also encourage other workplaces to have a healthy snack station as well, for both their customers and their staff. For example, our snack station included, we had infused water, which was infused with lemongrass, mint bush, and there was another thing that I'm forgetting. There was 3 different herbs in it, and it was really good. And we also had fruits such as we had melon, cantaloupe, watermelon, pineapples, and we had hummus and crackers and wheat crackers. And that was just an example of and it was homemade hummus. This was prepared. All of the stuff, most of the stuff at our healthy snack station was prepared by our chef Henville Michael Henville, who's always comes to for us. So I want to say thank you to him. And the hummus was actually really good. Even individuals who never tried hummus before, they were actually really interested in it and how it's made and what they can, if they can continue to eat something like that. So that was good. The following day was our Caribbean Wellness Day walk, which is annual. So that walk took place on Saturday, September the 14th from 6 a.m. We started at the Cotton Ground, at the bottom of Cotton Ground Road. That's at the entrance of Yatsman's Grill. We went along the Island Main Road, went through Charleston, and ended at the Villa Grounds, where Mr. Macefield Nisbet, who did the warm-up at Cotton Ground, he also did a warm-down session at the Villa. And then we had some musical entertainment, and some of the officials like Dr. Nisbet gave a little talk about what the day was like as well. And then after that we had some fruit bowls and parfaits for participants. I remember seeing you on the road, Troy.
Yes, you remember when I was passing.
Yeah, when you were passing.
I'm
very
having a
fresh.
good time. I'm having a good time tonight. You know, actually, I was not aware that that we would be having prizes for for those who wanted to run. So I only came with the intention to walk. So I was a little bit late in getting there, and when I drove over, I went all the way to the back, and started from the beginning. And then because I was so far behind, I started, doing a little jog, and I noticed that I was passing people. The first person I passed was the Honorable Eric Evelyn. I think I made a video of
You
it that
passed
I
us
had
with the
posted,
video.
and then I just started to pass persons, and I felt really good jogging, and so I just continued. I remember passing Mr. Marcellus Lee on the road, and he started to complain about his foot, so he couldn't run. In defense of the premier was way up close to the front. It took me some time to pass him. So.
Oh, you passed him eventually?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I did a lot of overtaking because I ran all the way.
So you started from the beginning?
Yes, and I was able to run all the way. Yes.
When you passed me, you were pretty fresh, like everybody was sweating.
No, I was already sweating, but yeah.
So you ran,
So,
and you
yes,
passed a lot of people.
Yeah. So it was a really, really good initiative, and I believe that it's important that we get out and we exercise. When I normally go and do a run at mornings because I found that I was getting a bit too heavy. Okay, and persons were telling me that I'm getting a bit too heavy because I'm normally an athletic person. And somewhere along the line, you never see when you're putting on weight.
Yeah.
Because you see yourself every
often,
day.
Right.
And it takes somebody who has not seen you for a while to say, well, you put on some weight when they finally see you. So I noticed I was getting a bit too heavy and decided to make jogging or running a regular part of my weekly routine. And I felt so much better. I've dropped a little bit of weight. I don't think I'm dropping it fast enough. I need to come and get on one of those healthy diets because the diet goes along with the jogging.
Agreed.
And so I'm using myself as an example to encourage everybody to be healthy. You can never start too early to try to be healthy. Looking at you, Shavina, you're in very good shape, and
Thank you.
I can see that you eat healthy and you exercise regularly, and that's what I want to encourage everybody to do. I see Marcelo shaking his head, but he has been complaining about about his foot all week. That's his excuse for why I passed him on the road. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for that. What at the walk, I want to mention that this year the turnout was much bigger. Well, let me not say much bigger, but it was bigger,
Hmm.
that significantly bigger than what we usually have, and it was good to see persons getting more interested in being physically active and they joining the cause to fight NCDs, because that is what this whole week is about. Even when we plan certain activities and we have individuals who give resistance or they're not interested.
So when you say NCDs,
Hmm.
because I might have an idea, but
Mm,
for the benefit of anyone who
right.
might not have an idea.
So NCDs are non-communicable diseases.
Hmm.
These are diseases that are slow progression, long lasting. So you basically have these diseases for the rest of your life once you were to develop a disease.
Hmm.
They're also called lifestyle diseases, meaning that you develop diseases most over 90% of the person, the 90% of you developing these diseases is due to your lifestyle, meaning inactivity, not eating well, and then the
Hmm.
smaller percentage of getting that disease is due to hereditary. So
Hmm.
sometimes you would hear persons say, so examples of NCDs are diabetes, hypertension, cancer, chronic kidney disease, heart disease, stuff like this.
Hmm.
And so and they are a burden right now in Nevis.
Hmm.
And so you would hear individuals say, oh, me can't help but get sugar
Hmm.
because my mother had it or because my grandmother had it,
Hmm.
which in that does not in all honesty, because someone close to you in your family had it, yes, your chances of having it is higher than
Hmm.
someone who doesn't have that in their family. But at the same time, it's something that you can control, especially if you don't have it now
Hmm.
and you realize that you still have the opportunity to take stock of your life and basically change it. And it starts with something small. You could just start doing a half an hour walk every afternoon after work.
Hmm.
Eventually you'll run or you'll go a little further with
Hmm.
walking. Changing your diet in terms of what you eat. So it's better to eat more fruits and vegetables, consume less starch, be mindful when you're eating protein, eat the less fatty protein.
Hmm.
If you like pork and meat that had have more oils to them, I'm not gonna say stop eating it altogether, but don't make it part of your daily meals.
Hmm.
And also try to cut back on sugar sweetened beverages, because these drinks, sodas, even some of the cocktail fruit juices that are not real fruit juices, they contain a lot of sugar, and some of them contain sodium as well, which is
Hmm.
salt. And so this having stuff like this in your diet constantly and not being active, this is basically the recipe to develop an NCD. And on the how our highest NCD, our biggest problem for NCDs in Nevis is diabetes and hypertension, where the numbers that I'm gonna give right now are our 2011 numbers, because I didn't get the more recent numbers, but from what I remember, we have over 1,300, 1,300 plus. I don't remember the smaller numbers, plus of registered diabetics, right?
Hmm.
We have around the same number of registered hypertensive person. These are just individuals who are registered. So of
Hmm.
course, you have those who don't go to the hospital,
Hmm.
who we don't know, probably they take care away, they go away for care. So
Hmm.
we don't have these numbers. So if we have a population of around 12,000 in Nevis, right?
Hmm.
And for diabetes and hypertension alone, let's round it up to 3,000. We have 3,000 persons who have an NCD. That is a problem,
Yes.
right? And if you start thinking of it, because that's what I do sometimes when I go to do talks at the schools or in the community, I try to get them to think of it this way. If you are living in a house with about 5 or 6 persons, I'm pretty sure if someone in the house doesn't have an NCD, then you know someone else who has an NCD,
Hmm.
right? And so it's becoming a burden in Nevis and in the federation. We also have obesity numbers. We 65% of the population is overweight and obese. That's a problem. So, and these are the ways you can fight NCDs: by eating healthy, watching what you eat, and being active. Exercise often. We recommend that you exercise for at least 5 days a week, for at least 30 minutes every time you exercise. This could be in the morning, in the afternoon, midday, whenever you choose. And so try to be active, get your heart pumping, get your blood flowing. Be active. You'll feel so much better after you exercise. So
Hmm.
we initiate exercises and events such as Caribbean Wellness Day Walk and the events of activities that we have for the week to kind of, create awareness, continue the awareness, try to get individuals to realize that it's all about you. You're doing it for you. You're not doing it for health promotion. You're not doing it because your sister wants you to do it. You're doing it for your health at the end of the day. And so that's why we are continuously pleading with individuals to take your life, take your health seriously, because good health is really in your hands at the end of the day.
Yes, and once you lose it, it's
Yes,
very
it's
difficult
hard.
to. Somebody's, I think, how they saying, an ounce
A
of
prevention is better than a
is
pound
better than a
of
pound
cure.
of cure. Yes.
And treating an illness is so much more expensive than actually preventing an illness, and that goes for NCDs as well. And so we continued our week of activities. So after the walk, we continued our week of activities with our mini health fair, which was held yesterday, the 17th of September, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that was held in the Memorial Square in Charleston. That's the square that's closest to the library. And that was actually really it was successful. It was really hot. Yesterday was a hot day, especially if you were out in the sun most of the day, for a good part of the day. But we did have a good participation. We were offering blood glucose test, blood pressure, BMI, body mass index. That's how we measure if you have the right weight for your body height, for your height, and if if you're overweight, underweight, healthy weight, that kind of thing. So we have a scale that we use to tell you that. We also had free rapid HIV counseling and testing that was offered at the fair. So that was yesterday. And then today, I'm here on the MAG. That was actually part of our week of activities. And then on Friday, we have our the last activity, the bigger activity. And this is the end of the week, and it's called Feet in the Street. So this event was created, like I said, to get people moving and to create awareness of the importance of being active. So we wanted to get individuals to walk more, drive less. So we are going to, if all goes well and the weather holds up, we're going to block off the streets of Charlestown to encourage individuals to walk in. So Charlestown will be blocked off from the villa straight to by the old cinema at the end of the Samuel Hunkins Drive, and so there will be no vehicular traffic flowing through Charlestown on that day. Individuals are asked to adhere to this. It's gonna the blocks are gonna be the block is going to start at 6 a.m. and it will end at 5 p.m. The allotted parking areas for this day are the Villa Grounds, Boko Park, the Old Artisan Village, as well as the cleared off piece of land across the street from TDC in Pennies. And then of course, for individuals who are elderly or disabled, we will have a shuttle service that will be running all day to accommodate individuals like that. Also, for individuals who choose to park at Boko Park and at TDC Pennies, they will have a shuttle service that will bring you into the nearest point where you can start walking. So the block off for Government Road would be right there by the federal office, so you can drive across to go by the park.
Okay.
Yeah. And that road that leads down to the back of the old Nevlek will be blocked off too, because I know persons will probably be trying.
I was already
Trying to
thinking
get
about driving earlier.
Yes.
You got me.
Yes. So that will be blocked off as well.
I have to think about the next way.
No, we have to see your feet in the street.
I'm actually going to be supporting
Good.
this. I'm probably going to, when I do decide to come into town on Friday, once the weather permits, because we have that storm out
Yes,
here.
yes.
But let's hope by the grace of God that it stays far to the north and it stays far from all of the islands. And once that is the case, and I'm coming into town, I'm going to try to park at one of the areas a bit further from town, and I will wear some sneakers again.
Some hot sneakers
Yes,
again.
some good sneakers, and because it's more comfortable to walk.
Yes.
And then I'll try to walk into town in support of the initiative, but not just in support of the initiative. I believe in being healthy And I think what you're saying is extremely important. We need to start promoting it with our young people, and
Right.
that is what we're trying to do actually at the Ministry of Education. We're trying to slowly but surely um, do some corrective measures to the diets
Mm-hmm.
of our young
Yes.
people to encourage them to eat more healthy foods, to try to steer them away from the sugary drinks and so on. So we're doing things like water day and so on.
Yes. Water
We
Wednesday.
encourage the children to drink water, because then there's nothing better than water, and you get so much sugar
Right.
from other things that there's no need to wash it down with another sweet beverage again. And we're also trying to encourage a cutback on salt, because we eat so much processed food now that the processed food come with their own salt,
Very
and they
high
come with
levels.
very high salt content.
Yes.
So it's, as people would say colloquially, it's put and put.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to encourage less salt in things like when you're cooking rice and so on. You cook with less salt, because if you're gonna use things like tomato sauce or ketchup or barbecue sauce, those things are already loaded with salt. And as you said about the non-communicable diseases, we all know that salt is a big part of hypertension,
Right.
and the sugary and the sweet drinks and so on. Your body then becomes insulin resistant and so on, and the constant putting of sugar into the body makes the body has to produce insulin pretty much all day.
Right.
So the body needs to have times when you're shut off from producing insulin. It sounds like I do a little
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
health
man.
research.
Sound like you
and-
did a little research there.
yeah,
So knowledgeable.
health is important.
It is. That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
So-
I'm glad that you mentioned that you're gonna wear comfortable shoes, because that's one of the things I wanted to encourage individuals who will be affected by feet in the street, positively affected, of course, that they should walk with comfortable shoes. Or let me remind persons, use comfortable shoes on that day, even if you're gonna take your shoes with you, your heels with you, and then put them on when you get to the office.
So it's like a second sneaker day. It's like the
Yes.
revamped sneaker day. Only this time you're not wearing the sneakers for style.
Yeah.
This time you actually need the sneakers, because
Right.
you're going to be walking from far.
Right.
And I'd love to see everybody, moving on that day. And of course, we would have some persons who just can't walk because of whatever reason.
Right,
And
right.
you've already said that those persons will be taken care of.
Yeah.
But it would be good to see how Charlestown looks without vehicles, and to see how it looks with people just walking to and fro. I think that would be something that I definitely look forward to, and I welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Well, I have been. I'm looking forward to it myself. We've been doing a lot of preparations for the day. We're gonna have musical entertainment along the route as well. We're gonna have 3 different stations for musical entertainment. We're also gonna have fruit and water stations to give away, and we're also gonna have some little giveaways for individuals who are taking part on that day. Also, at 4:15, we're gonna have a soca size session. That's going to take place in front of the post office, between the post office and First Caribbean Bank.
Okay, and what exactly is this?
Soca size, so it's basically we're exercising to soca
Okay.
music. So we're encouraging everyone to take part in soca size. So when you're packing your comfortable shoes the night before or the day before, I encourage you to also pack comfortable, work exercise clothes or workout clothes. And also, even if you didn't have to come to town that day, you want to come to town just to join the soca size,
And
you're
who's
also
the instructor?
invited. That would be Mr. Nisbet.
Macefield?
Yes.
I will have to run from Macefield.
No, man. No, Mr. Nisbet, he's not as tough as people think. He's not as tough as people think.
Oh no, he might not be as tough as people think, but he's tougher than I could think.
Oh, Lord. Not for half an hour, just a half an hour just to get you going for the weekend. It should be good. It's gonna be good. And then for those who have the same concern as you, I talked to him, and I said to him, "Maybe take it a little easy just for these.
Yeah,
We want them to come." And he said,
remember,
"Yeah, man, got you."
these are not regular people who
Right.
regularly
Some of them
exercise.
won't be regular
I
exercisers.
got a joke this afternoon because one gentleman asked me when I was having some lunch at Rodney's today,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I can call his name, and Randy Elliott came in there and he asked me, "Well, how you feel?" And he told me, I can barely lift my hands up, my shoulders hurt.
Oh boy.
And
He
I
was
had
exercising with
I had a
his
good
feet.
laugh. Yes, he was there with us last week.
Oh.
So since then he said all over him a ache. So I had a good laugh because to be honest, my shoulders had hurt a bit and my hands and so on, but I jog regularly, so I didn't have
Oh, as much.
body aches. But I was having a good time laughing at him, because they say no pain, no gain.
Right.
And whenever you start exercising, you're going to feel a little bit of pain because the muscles were not accustomed to those type of movements and so on. But it's all for the best.
Yes.
Just keep it up and push through and so on. We're moving up on the quarter to 9 hour.
Yes.
So I'm gonna let you do your finish up.
Yes. So, thank you, Minister Lai. But I just want to.
Troy is good when we are.
Troy is good. Okay. Thank you, Troy. I just want to encourage everyone to remind people about Feet in the Street. It's happening this Friday, the 20th of September, and that is the day when there will be no vehicular traffic through Charlestown. As well as I would like to encourage them to join our soca size session at 4:15. It's going to be fun. Don't focus on Macefield being tough. It's all for you. It's do it for you. It's all for a good cause. And also we would like the cooperation of the general public. We're not always open to change sometimes, and some persons won't like the fact that the road is blocked off because they have to walk. But look at the positive side of it. You're actually getting your steps in for the day. And it's only for one day. That's what I say. It's only for one day. It's for a good cause. You're actually gonna have fun. The DJs already know that this is gonna be a good time, so they should hype up the session and have some good music in town. And we have some good giveaways as well for the general public. So I am encouraging everyone to be advocates for health promotion and fighting NCDs. We're for a good cause. So when you have a friend or a neighbor saying something negative about Feet in the Street, tell them, no man, it's for a good cause. Encourage, support the individuals at the health promotion unit because this is all about us.
It's for everybody.
Yes.
It's for us. It's definitely for persons who, already started to develop these non-communicable diseases that they can reverse. Because I've heard that if you're getting high blood pressure and you're in the early stages, you can make a few lifestyle changes and reverse that. The same with diabetes and so on. And getting out there and exercising and dieting and so on is all for us. It's for the future also, because if we want to have a healthy nation, then we got to start practicing it.
Yeah.
And I believe that a big part of it is diet. We're now learning so many things about anatomy that we did not know 50 years ago. Imagine 50 years ago, anything happened to you, they say give you penicillin because they had just found penicillin, and penicillin was the wonder drug. It was the first antibiotic, and people used to die from just getting a cut, and getting it infected and so on. And penicillin made a world of difference, but people couldn't see inside the human body. But now in 2019, we've already mapped the genome and all of those things, and we can get deep into how the whole body functions. And scientists are even getting so deep that they're looking at the body as just atoms and those type of things interacting. So they're way deeper than the cellular level. They're looking at everything as like interactions between different particles and so on. Electricity is what the brain works off of. Electricity, neurons and so on. And so every year the technology advances, and one of the things that we use technology for is to find out how the human body works.
Mhm.
So we know so much more now than we knew 5 years ago,
Right.
and that was way more than we knew 20 years ago. And so the knowledge has to be put to use.
Yes.
Sure, some of the things of the past. Actually, what we're finding is that the things of the past are good. Things
Mhm.
like the bush
Yes.
and those type of thing, the bush medicine and so on is actually
Good for
probably
you.
the good medicine.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I like this topic, eh? If you notice that.
I noticed. That's good. That's a good thing. I encourage that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and also I want to mention that for individuals who are interested, a map of where the blocks are going to be is
Mhm.
also on our Facebook page. That will be Health Promotion
What's
Unit
health,
Facebook page.
health promotion unit?
Yes, and Nevis HPU. Mr. Lester Blackett helped us out with a map, and so it's on our Facebook page, and it should be circulating WhatsApp and Facebook, etc.
Health promotion unit Nevis.
Yes. So you
Okay,
should see
so how
a
come I
map.
never went on your Facebook page?
So
And
you're not our friend on Facebook?
I just made you my Facebook
Thank you.
friend.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm getting all your paraphernalia now.
Yes.
And the map looks lovely. So I would encourage everybody to go out there and get this information. This was done using Google Earth.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it was.
So you can get all that paraphernalia. Sherwin, I want to thank you for coming, and I think I'm a lot more knowledgeable for some of the things that you have brought, and I believe that the general public really appreciate it. I love the work. I think that we should not just leave it for once or twice a year,
I've been getting that a
but
lot.
that it should be something regular,
Right.
and perhaps health promotion unit and education can partner
It's a good
on
idea.
doing something, and then at another time you can partner with another
Department.
ministry to do something. I know I would be keen to do it because anything to get us out moving as a nation. I would love to see everybody in Nevis come out and move, even persons who need wheelchair. I can assist to push a wheelchair, and we all get out there and get moving together and see our nation become more healthy.
That's
Yeah.
important.
So I want to thank you for coming and for sharing with us. I'll give you a final word.
Thank you, Troy. I would like to also give thanks to my sponsors for Feet in the Street. It wouldn't have been possible or as this well done if it wasn't for our sponsors. So I'd like to give thanks to my platinum sponsors in the ICDF, Lefco Equipment Construction and Company Limited, Dan Baco Trucking and Ready Mix Limited. Our gold sponsors, Superior Interior, Funky Monkey, Stella's Engineering, Islander Water Sports, the Bank of Nevis, Mr. Colin Walters. Silver sponsors, Best Buy Supermarket, Arista Wood Design, and our bronze sponsors would be Nelson Spring Purified Water. So these are individuals who were generous in helping Health Promotion Unit get Feet in the Street off the ground, and I would really like to tell them how much I appreciate what they have been doing and what they have done, and we look forward to partnering with them in the future. And also would like to thank my listeners and thank the general public, especially those who have been supporting Health Promotion Unit in all of its activities, even those activities like Feet in the Street that hasn't started as yet or hasn't taken place as yet. We have a few persons, a good amount of people who naturally support what we do, and I would like to say thank you to those individuals. And I look forward to seeing everyone on Friday once the weather is good to us. And thank you for having me on the show, Troy.
Yes, it was wonderful. Do come back, and let's have another initiative similar to this sometime in October.
Okay.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On The Mark. I'm Troy Libert. I'm your host for tonight. It is 10 minutes before the 9 o'clock hour. I want to wish everybody a happy independence. We're going to be celebrating 36 years tomorrow. How wonderful it is. We continue to grow as a nation. Our union is not perfect, but it's better than a lot of other unions out there. You know, our country is not perfect, but it's better than a lot of other countries out there. We're the smallest sovereign nation in the Western Hemisphere, you know, both by landmass or area and also by population. But, you know, we punch way above our weight normally. The Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is a champion as a federation. We're always in the top tier when it comes to just about, you know, anything. We're really, really good at most things. We've put so many people on the West Indies team. We have many top footballers. We have Kim Collins, who was a top track athlete. We've already put out some other good athletes, and hopefully in the near future we're going to have another world champion or two, because I've seen some of the youngsters that we have. So we have a lot of things to be really, really proud of as a nation. Our economic situation here in St. Kitts and Nevis is far better. As a matter of fact, it is the envy of most countries in the Eastern Caribbean and in the Caribbean as a whole. We enjoy a standard of living that is very, very high in comparison to some of our neighbors. And so, as a federation, we have a lot of things to be happy about. We have a lot of things to be cheerful about. Of course, everybody is not going to be happy, and that's expected. It's a democracy, and we respect the opinions. We respect everybody's opinion. You know, it's not about me doing all the talking and somebody else just listening and not having the opportunity to say anything. So with that in mind, it's about 7 minutes before the 9 o'clock hour. I think I'm going to open the lines in a few. I have a lot of things to talk about, but this is not just a talk show. It's also a call-in show where we get the views and opinions of our listeners. And I want you all to call in and tell me, you know, what you think about independence or what you think about any other topic. You know, it is an open mic, and I have a couple other things here that I would want to talk about, but I want to wrap everything into the context of our independence. I want to talk a little bit probably about the struggles that we've had as a nation, and perhaps where I think we should be heading as a nation. So when the lines are open, the numbers to call will be 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. So, by the way, I should have at the top of the show, and I neglected to. I want to congratulate the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots on a marvelous game that they played last night. You know, I happened to be watching the game, and people like cricket. I actually did not go to the game because I had a early morning this morning. I needed to get around to some different schools, so I didn't want to be coming home really late and not be able to have my early start that I needed to have. So I opted to watch the game on television and to call around to different people who are watching the game and talk about the game. So every time somebody hit a six or every time somebody out, I would either get a call or I would make a call and say, you know, look like we're winning. And then somebody else might be there saying, oh Lord, the Patriots gone in. It look like we're losing. There's no way we're going to win this game. So it was an exciting game. We have our first caller. Okay, we have our first caller for the night. Caller, you're on the mark tonight. Hello?
Hi.
Yes, you're on the mark.
A blessed evening, my beloved brother. How are you and your family? How is Nevis?
Wonderful. Nevis is wonderful.
Okay, let me say a blessed evening to Premier Mark Brantley, my beloved brother, one of the hardest working minister in the Team Unity administration.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my brother, first let me say, happy independence to our nationals and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis and the 36th anniversary of our independence. And it must be homage to those, beloved brother, who are our ancestors and who are some of them who are still living, beloved brother, who paved that way. And some of them shed blood, sweat, and tears, and even paid the ultimate prices, my beloved brother. Always pay homage to them. And to our living national hero, the great Dr. Simmons, who transformed St. Kitts Nevis into a modern society, beloved brother. And we must pay also homage to the great Simeon Daniel, who transformed Nevis, brother. Because we know what Nevis was. And sometimes people are talking about you don't get to think politics, but the truth must be told. We know what Nevis was like under Bradshaw and the Labour Party administration, brother. It was not until the 1980 when the link up with the NRP under the great, the Honorable Simeon Daniel, beloved brother, that Nevis was transformed into a modern society. So, brother, we must pay homage to all those people, man.
Yeah, you've got to give credit where credit is due.
Yes, beloved, because you know how the thing with Nevis was, man. And brother, you must tell the truth, whether it hurts or what. You must tell the truth, beloved brother. If it wasn't for the PAM NRP administration and led by Dr. Simmons, and then the Nevis front by the great Simeon Daniel, beloved brother, Nevis would not be what it is today, beloved brother, and the entire federation would not be what it is today because those initiatives that Dr. Simmons took, beloved brother. People were saying, oh, he's a madman. I don't want to say no Port Zante because Zante is a Greek word. I will say Port Simmons, beloved brother. That port must be renamed Port Simmons because Dr. Simmons had the vision, beloved brother, for that and the Eastern Peninsula. I mean, more of our people who look like me and you African people must live over there, beloved brother. Because Dr. Simmons, when he started that road, people say, oh, you know what they used to call it? I don't know if you know, brother.
The road to nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes. They say he was a crazy man, but the man, the Dr. Simmons, a visionary man.
Yeah, he had the vision.
Simmons, with Dr. Simeon Daniel, man. 6th farm for the first time to Nevis. I remember going to the Basti High School, brother, in the 70s, when people used to be coming down from Nevis to go to 6th farm in St. Kitts. And that was a hard burden on them, beloved brother. It was a burden on them, beloved brother. So we must pay homage, man, to our people and those before, beloved brother. So my beloved brother, we have come a long way. I mean, we got some long way to go still, because I want to see the day when St. Kitts and Nevis become a republic, beloved, with an executive president, not a ceremonial president, beloved, an executive president, where we have like a Congress, like a lower house of representatives, and the Senate, beloved brother. But that will come, and the day must come soon, beloved, when our people, instead of going up to the Privy Council and all that, the people want to agree with me because our transpire, in 2050 with the Privy Council. But I'm telling you, that will be the same result if we did go to the CCJ, was our appellate court, beloved brother. Last resort, beloved. You get the same result, beloved. But we must have confidence in our people. Can they show the same thing? And even better, because, beloved, we have some of the most brilliant lawyers ever in the history of the Caribbean. The great Dr. William V. Herbert, Lee Moore, Dr. Henry Kukumba Brown, and others, beloved brother. And we got some good ones coming up now, too. So, brother, and look, how could I forget Justice Byron, man? World renowned. world renowned. So, brother, our people, man, we must go to the CCJ, beloved. But I know I've said a lot. Again, in closing, let me just wish our people great independence there. And we must help our brothers and sisters in the Bahamas. And brothers and sisters, prepare for the storm. If he ain't come, I would like it not to hit none of our islands in the Caribbean, but be prepared. You don't going to lose anything. The food that you store up, you could use it for another day. But be prepared. Beloved, let me say in closing, let me thank again our ancestors and those who are still living who brought us to this day. Pan-Africanism of perish. One love, my beloved brother.
Take care, man. Okay? Have a good night. Let's stick with the lines. We have another call. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Yes, hello, good evening, Ty.
Good evening.
I was looking for you, and I couldn't find you. And I was looking for my husband, Mark, and Macy.
Oh, oh yes. I remember last year we had a good hug up. So you were looking for me this year?
Well, fine, I'm going to take everything.
Oh, he take everything?
Yes. I'm talking about now, in the house, what tip put up today? And you had nobody for it because he would have called them sink it. And when one speaker is speaking, you all listen. And when you all is speaking, let the other speaker listen. I don't want the fight in there. So it was like a movie today.
They went down bad in there?
Enjoy. He was there, later he was there, and independent.
Okay, wonderful. You're going to be at the parade tomorrow morning?
Yes, I'm going to be there. But these young fellows who running for election, they're hot, you know. They're hot. So we want the bungee.
Okay. You have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night.
Okay, let's stick with the lines. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good evening, Honorable Troy.
Good evening. How are you? I'm hearing good things about you.
Huh?
I'm hearing good things about you. I hear you had some people on the radio show there Tuesday. Is yesterday?
Economics are teaching them.
And I hear you baffled their mind.
No, you see, we got to, whether we on this side or that side, you know, we got to be honest with our people. You just can't say, get this and get that. Something must come from somewhere. And as I said, sometimes I think people don't understand. It sounds easy to say, but we got to, and some people know better too. You understand? Because I was saying, if the majority, if the government is losing a large amount of its revenue, you can't have the same government to go dole out large amount. You know, that's what I call irresponsible thing, and that's why I was pointing some people to the IMF report, because that is what it said before, you know. The expenses, and they said, oh, we send this one, that, and that one, that, and my good friend. What about my good friend, who's the one against Mark? Wait a minute.
Oh, Mr. Daniel?
Yes, I like him, you know.
I saw him today.
You must give him my regard.
Yes, I will do that.
I like Hensley. I like him.
Yeah, he's
He used to say, oh, they ain't care what I spend. I tell him, no, you don't want a country like that. And that seemed to be the mentality. Anyway, I call to wish everyone, all individuals and Kitishans, a happy independence. You know, I was listening to Brother Nabo. Good night, Brother Nabo. You know, I recall I joined the planning unit in 1985. And there wasn't much statistics for neighbors, you know. Population was down. Basically, children and old people. Because when you leave school, nothing to do, you're gone. That was a trend until the 4 season came. I recall sometime when we got on, we used to go and get the accounts for neighbors. Insane kids. It took some time before I used to have to come over to Nevis after a while to get the information, because there were then more businesses. You know, and people, I think those who born now take things for granted. There was no Rams over there, you know.
No, the Rams is a recent thing.
No, TDC and a hospital. You know, Billy Waldron came over. I remember when they started opening up businesses in Nevis. Transform.
People now had more money to spend. You know, so independence brought a lot of things. Not only the physical that we could touch,
Mm-hmm.
but it gives the individual a new sense of identity,
Mm-hmm.
where they no longer feel, well, oh, I have to go to things to make a living. They become more entrepreneurial, you know. I mean, they've always been. Because I used to come spend my summer in Nevis, over in Bath Village with the Seaton. Maybe about where you live, country or town?
I live country.
Or Bath Village, I used to
but,
go Bath Village.
I have roots in Bath Village.
Oh,
My
Papa
grandfather is a Claxton.
Papa Seaton and them. Well, you know Linda Claxton?
I'm not sure if I know her.
Oh, I think she had one, you know. It was for labor. All of those, they were my people. She was married to one of my people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I look back at the days, and you look now. I remember going to see my brother, Yampi. Had one massive speedboat. The transformation of Nevis, independence brought transformation. And the vision should be proud of themselves. They have every right to be proud. I mean, they've all been a proud people. And even more proud and more independent. And so, you know, I was happy when they made Tim Daniel a hero. God, they were fighting it for years. All you hear was labor, only labor hero. You know, even though Mr. France is born in Nevis, because he's a new vision. But he spent most of his productive life in St. Kitts. You know, Nevis have a lot to be proud of. I used to, when I worked in the accounts, I said, look, while you are sitting down there, then Nevis going to become independent. I used to be laughing. Because when I started first, Nevis was living on subvention, you know. Some people don't know. Every year they got 21 million. In the accounts, I used to work on the accounts.
Mm-hmm.
They used to live on subvention from the federal government until the 90s when the economy began to hold its own. They were able to finance themselves, you know, increase their structure. So Nevis has come a very long way, St. Kitts too. And as I told somebody the other day, they used to call Dr. Simmons, Minister of Infrastructure. That is like a nickname, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, everything in the mouth, every speech he makes is infrastructure. But you see the fruits today?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with you when you do it. Oh, what a little road. Lack of understanding, improve infrastructure, promotes growth.
Well, what America is the model. They say that it's the the model country, the home of the free and the land of the brave and all of that. And what made America build up? They built railways to get to the
to move goods.
to get to the west. Before that they built that canal that went from New York City to upstate New York and Buffalo and all of those places.
You know, even as they challenged one of them, they were talking
railroads.
about the water taxi business.
Yeah.
Oh, and they build it, waste the money and build a pier. But they water taxi to something. So I asked them, what do you intend to do when you go in? Shut it down?
You know, if they had built the water taxi pier, or if they had the idea to build the water taxi
No.
pier.
If you look at it in terms of the economics, right? Look at the politics. You have now opened up and given young men more productive purposes.
Yes, but you see, the water taxi pier was not something that was government driven, you know. The guys had already started to operate their water taxis and so on. And as a matter of fact, for a long time, they were operating from the pier over at Wally Beach by the hotel. And so there was already a thriving business. The pier at Wally Hotel was in bad shape, you know, and was in a state of disrepair. And so the guys had been calling for a pier, calling for a place for them to ply their trade. So this was not something where the government built something and then people start to fill in.
They were saying, you are waste 9 million. I am saying to myself, look,
Well,
when you have infrastructure, Because now look at it, as they were saying, people can move freely.
Mhm.
Now you have the Park Hyatt. A lot of divisions looking over there
Yes, that is true.
because, as I was saying yesterday, divisions have had much training in high-end tourism.
The thing is, though, if we say that we are a federation, then movement
I
between the
was
two,
trying to explain that to some people, see?
movement
I don't
between the
think
two
they get it.
islands, you know, it should just be like
I look St. Thomas.
you're in Sandy Point in St. Kitts and you take a bus to town.
I look St. Thomas. When you go Virgin Islands, you catch the boat, you go St. John
Yeah.
to work, and you're back and forth.
But it should be no different if you catch a bus from Sandy Point to Bastille.
But
Or
the money
if
circulating
you
in the
drive from
federation.
Newcastle to Charleston, or if you get on the water taxi and you leave from Orly and you go over to Reggae Beach, or you head into town, it should be no difference. And we need to get to the
And
point.
the money, look, and the money that the owners of the water taxi make circulating Nevis.
Yes, they pay taxes, of course.
You understand? Not
And
only
they-
for taxes, but they consume
Yes,
both goods and food.
and they have to pay
And
to
they
service
build
these
the houses.
equipment too.
They invest. So I think sometime, we need some economic lessons, Because I tired here, politicians on sometimes on all sides. They don't get it. And the Nevis this and the saying this and the saying that. I tell them, I say, every division have every right to earn a living in St. Kitts. They have every right is one federation,
Of course. It's
and
one.
the premier ain't do this and he ain't do that.
It's one
Tell them
country.
go read the IMF report and see what it's about in RP. The one say, my good friend Hector, I like him too,
Mhm.
I like Daily Spirit, but Daily gonna have to, when he's talking about leadership, he gonna have to explain this here,
Well, he has an issue with credibility, and that has already
No, but
been
seriously,
established.
I asked him already why he did not bring charges against the people. Because what you see, the thing is, when they said the box stop here, stop there,
Mhm.
It don't make no sense. Mark Brantley come and say, oh, well, the ain't know what sure I was doing. He's supposed to know, find out.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, one of your own people bring you down.
Mhm.
So therefore, even though you don't have to micromanage, but you must be made aware. Call a meeting even once when you got cabinet said, what you doing? What you doing?
Mhm.
You have a big organization, and you only find out that $500,000 can be accounted for when people come to cut off current and social security thing, and then some people are allowed to run and got the most mouth, Got the most mouth. Man, darling, I thank God for salvation, you hear? I want to make a good revolutionary, I mean, serious. And we all need to celebrate our independence, because if we stop to consider where we were,
That is true.
backward, I tell people try and get the hand on this thing, the situation analysis of women and children done by Professor Barry Chavez. You see the condition of our people in the 70s and into the early 80s.
Where can I find that?
I was trying, it used to be sold on Amazon, right? But I went trying to get it, and I can't get it, but it was being sold here. Barry Chavez, professor from Jamaica?
No, I don't know him. Barry.
You don't know him? He
No.
did a study on Rastafari and different things. He came to St. Kitts at the planning unit and he did the study. That is where you got some of these food aid and so.
Mhm.
Because the data showed serious malnutrition. I couldn't even believe some of them in some parts of the island.
Mhm.
And the condition of our people. So when you hear them talk, man, oh, life was good and life. And so on. So that is why you need, and people need to write the history of Nevis properly. Whether it is NRP and CCM, because both parties contribute.
Everybody want to write their own history. That's the
Yeah, everybody's
problem.
making up something.
Yeah.
But it's the facts and the stats is what people must use.
Yeah, and I credit you a lot for that, because spending a lot of time around you, I learned the importance of the facts because you always say the numbers
and I
don't
look,
lie, and that's kind of what I
people don't even know. What we call Millicent Brown, she
I-
from Brown Hill.
Mm-hmm.
She was a statistician. I used to do the Nevis accounts, analyze them separately, and then we put them together. I used to come to Nevis, go to Inland Revenue, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even say make the individuals pay taxes, because then sadly y'all don't like to pay tax, you know. They had all these businesses, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, information is there at the planning unit. Because whenever you see the GDP, it ain't a Senkis thing, you know.
Yeah, it's
We
for the
collect data
federation.
from Nevis and Senkis, and then we combine them, but they are calculated separately,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I think, I don't know what they're doing up in the stats office really, because I'm retired now, 15 years now. But the foundation has been set. And if we begin to use the stats, we would educate our people, because that is the only reason why they got on the radio, you know. I hear people talking all kind of stupidness. So I just come and try a little education, you know. A little education.
And I think it's valuable. I think everybody
Because
can learn
sometimes the
something.
truth is people not aware of it. This country, I mean, we to get food. Now the children getting lunch, bus. I mean, we come so far.
Yeah, we've come such a long way. When I used to go to school, which wasn't so long ago, you walk with your own lunch and so on.
Yeah.
And you had to walk with your sandwich and whatever. Now the students are getting a hot lunch. We
I
have...
was even explaining to somebody, they were debating about this uniform. I tell them, I remember when they had, we did education reform in the 80s. I think it was done, we did 2 education policies.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons for putting in uniform was the condition of the poor children. While some people could afford to put good clothes on the children every morning, the poor children put on whatever raggedy thing they have.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easily to distinguish in a class
Who was who?
who poor and who hand to mouth and who indigent.
The haves and the haves not. The have not.
Yes, the indigent, you know, the classes.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh, yeah, make uniform make a difference.
Yes.
And then the provision of I taught in Bassey High School. Many years, some children drop out in the 4th form, not because they're done. They used to have to find the money to pay exams in December, when the crop ain't start yet. Crop ain't start. Exercise book, sometimes we send home children, go bring your textbook, because some children come to school, they have none. They come back, my mother says she can't buy none. You understand what I mean? They can't get to do the homework properly. And then you got self. They take things for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Exam now, why do you think they go away 10 and 12 and 11 and 21? The government paying for them. In a lot of cases, they're paying for them. Before time, when I went to school, when you went to school, your parents had to pay.
Yeah, when I went to school, that I had to pay. I think in Nevis, the parents still mostly pay for the subjects, except for those students who would have scholarships and so on.
Well, in saying the government pay under itself,
Mm-hmm.
you all give the books and so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these things are non-existent. We come a long, long way, so that this child of the poor now have a lot of opportunities that we never had. Why do you think so many of them could afford to go Cuba, wherever? And one of them born about, oh, an education in this and that. That's a lie. Oh, they got the debt. You know, I have 2 grandchildren, one graduate this year. She did economics, and the other one graduated last year. She did accounts. And I was encouraging them to go and get scholarship. But you know the young people's story? Oh, I want to go so it's so far. But then they come back with this debt on their back. If the children and the parents would reason, I'm going to get an equal education. Let me take a scholarship. You ain't got no child. I just tell you, you have no child to look back for.
Mm-hmm.
When you're young, you could go New Zealand, you could go Russia if you want to go. You go Cuba, you have nothing holding you back. When you come back, you're walking freer than anybody who went Eureka. I went UE. Well, I had a scholarship, eh? But I'm trying to tell you that sometimes the decision that some young people make, oh man, go in there. And some of them you're advising, why are you going to do that subject? Is there a demand for it? Oh, well, I want to do it. But if you want to do it, you must think about the market for your skill, you know.
That's,
Sometimes our children don't think about it.
well, that's where the counseling and so on comes in, and we have to try to do a better job at that, because sometimes it's not what you think you want to do at a young age. It's you
Unless
trying
you
to.
plan to migrate, because, I mean, nothing wrong with migrating. But when you choose something, it must be marketable, or you're going to create your own employment.
Miss Henry, we have some other
All right,
callers trying to get in, so
Anyway,
I gave you a really
happy
long one.
independence, yes.
Yes.
I'll type a news line.
Okay, you have a
Good
wonderful
night.
night.
Dr. Bailey. Wait a name, Doctor.
Dr. Daly.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a good friend.
All right.
Man, everybody good, you know. God bless you.
All right, you have a good night. Let's stick with the lines. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Honorable Child Libad.
Good night. How are you?
I'm giving thanks. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I had a wonderful day. I went to a few
Thanks, yeah.
schools and took part in their patriotic programs.
Well,
And I saw the,
your patriotic program.
yeah, I saw the colors today, and it was wonderful. Everybody celebrating independence. Everybody showing their patriotism, country above self. Such a beautiful
I
thing.
don't contain that kind of motto because the motto don't really give the emphasis about social development and our economical
So
structure.
how would you put it?
And I used to say we cannot put a country or humanity. There's no emphasis to rise out.
But the country is us, you know. The country is all of us.
Yes, Mr. Libad.
The country is not just the land, you know. The land, if you had the land there and there's nobody, there's no country.
Okay.
We make up the country.
Well, to your context where you're using, you could formulate that statement like that. But anyway, a calling a state of concern to
Sure.
something that I heard in the parliament basing on the debate what was taken today.
Sure.
And when I find the way how we see our parliamentarians them is positioning themselves as saying they're so care about our people of the position we had come from and where we are today. It's a burning shame. Now, Mr. Libad, me and you as young people in the past of our generation expand to this next generation coming. And if we really serious about enhancing and stabilizing our people towards understanding our the education status really need to devise. We are not really going right.
Why would you say that?
Consider ourselves to say we're promoting one thing in this way, and the next way we look into the prize our people of that.
In what way? Be clear.
I'm talking about the reference of our history, of our social impact towards colonialism, and where we say we are in the state of independent mindset as a people. Because you use the term of patriotism, and that's why I say very carefully that we have to be mindful of how we label the word patriotism, because we see a lot of things are being really divisive towards all people when it comes to where we are stand and where we are going. And Mr. Libad, I would like to say to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and to the whole entire world, unless we understand who we are as a people, we continue going into the mess that our colonial masters have left us in. We need to emphasize ourselves more clearly than what we're seeing today. This is not the process of what our ancestors called for. Equal rights and justice is still denied to our people, and we say we are at 36 years of independence. We are not serious about social change. We're just only for the concept of because we can gravitate.
So how would you say that equal rights and justice is being denied?
As we look at it, you just say patriotism. Well, how is it that if it's patriotism, we only have emphasis straight from within the political realm, but not the emphasis of the people?
Yes, but the patriotism is about the people. The patriotism is not about myself, who is a member of the NIA in Nevis. The patriotism is not about Mark Brantley. The patriotism is about everybody. And that's what we're trying to emphasize, because guess what? Today it might be Mark Grantley or Alexis Jeffers or Spencer Brand or Eric Evelyn or Hazel Brandy Williams or Troy Libert. But a year from now or 5 years from now or 10 years from now, it's going to be someone else. You know, we have a turn to do, and we are doing that turn now. And hopefully we do a job that history will look on us in a favorable way. But a few years from now, it's going to be somebody else. And then years from then, it's going to be somebody else again.
We understand.
And so it's not just about us. And certainly when it comes to me, and I'm speaking on a personal note here, when it comes to me, it's not about me. I normally leave my ego. I check my ego at the door when I go to my office. I leave my ego outside there, check it at the door. You understand? And when I come inside, I come to serve people. You know? I leave all of my biases and all them things there outside. And perhaps maybe in the afternoon I pick them back up and go home. Right? But when it comes to the people, those things have to be left where they are. And we have to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the people who we are serving and the job that we have been called to do. And how do we give the best account of what we're doing? We might not be perfect, because if you put 10 different people to do the same thing, you might get 7 or 8 different ways how to do it. And everybody believes that they're right. You know? But it's just how we are. We are different.
We are different, but we have common understanding too. You hear me?
Well, yes.
And it's basically the teachings that we need to really bring.
If you follow science, they say that this guy Leibniz and this guy Newton, both of them discovered calculus.
Is it Newton?
Yes, they say both of them.
You gave me that emphasis there, Mr. Libert. But respect to you, because that's what the teacher. But let me go before.
In what way?
We have greater emphasis in science than what they teach you all into.
No, but Newtonian physics has its place.
Mm-hmm.
Newtonian physics has its place, of course. It is relevant when we're dealing with things at smaller speeds, and when you get up to higher speeds, then you start to deal with quantum physics. So, yeah. Okay, caller.
A big thanks for the word somebody heard me say tonight. Blessed love and honor to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and to the entire dialogue we have on the Van Radio, as they say, on the map. And we just like to say to the aspect of the people who are going out, as they say, to celebrate for the marking of the 36th anniversary. Even though we as a Rasta don't emphasize the celebration of how it is, but we respect our people. You see, that's how we level go. Because we have to have tolerance.
Well, the thing is, however you celebrate it, you are part of the society, and you're an integral part of the society. And we welcome your contribution.
We give thanks a lot. And we just hope that everything go well within the ways of our people, and we will get to lock up the Queen of England so we could change the farm of our development. One perfect love.
You have a good night, brother. Let us stick with the lines. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night. Hello? Okay, we've lost a caller. Callers, please be patient. I'm trying to give people as much time as possible so that they can make their points. And please feel free to call back in. So, okay, we have that caller back. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good evening, Sean.
Good evening.
I called tonight not to make any comments, but to ask a few questions.
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Not at all.
St. Kitts and Nevis is one federation.
Yes, we are one federation.
Okay, that one has been answered. So why, as you are part of the education department in Nevis, being one federation, in St. Kitts, the schools have a program called SELF. Why is it not in Nevis? You know how many parents can't afford to buy books for their children to send them back to school? They have to crunch and munch. And next thing, why a child in kindergarten have to use textbooks? I don't think it makes sense. Secondly, I may have two children going to a school, high school. And when I buy book this term, this year's year for one, those books go down. I have to buy a next set. A next child come over to the same school the following year and cannot use those books. Why?
So you're saying that they would have changed the textbook?
Hello?
You're saying that they would have changed the textbook?
Of course.
Okay.
And sometimes they send out booklets and parents buy the books and they are not used. What has become of blackboard and chalk? And said the idea of children writing up in books. And then the books can't be used for a next child because that book has been filled with writing. It's ridiculous, try.
So you're saying that the students would write the work in the textbook?
Of course.
Okay.
There work that has been done in the textbook. When I was going to school, we used to have a book for homework. We didn't have any book to write in.
And this is at the high school level or the primary level?
What?
What you're speaking about with the students writing in the textbook, is this at the primary level or the high school level? Both?
Primary and high.
Okay.
Next question. Do the children in St. Kitts pay for their school program hot meals?
I'm writing down all of your questions. You want me to answer that last question right now?
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
I'm not fully aware of all of the practices that pertain in St. Kitts. Of course, we are one federation, but there are some differences in the way that we apply things in Nevis to the way that things are applied in St. Kitts. Of course.
Why? That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Why?
Why are there differences?
Of course, we are one federation.
Yes, but we are two distinct islands. We don't do everything the same way that it is done in St. Kitts. We are different. So, in terms of the hot meals system, we've had a hot meal system for several years now. We started with one or two schools, and then it's been rolled out to most of the other schools. The payment that we do in Nevis is pretty low if you were to compare that to having to prepare lunches for children. Let's say the parents had to prepare lunches as it was in the past, or the parents had to provide the children with money to go and buy lunch. What is prepared in the school, the cost is significantly less than it would normally be, and what you're getting in school in terms of the quality of the food is a very high standard of food. So the cost is a lot less than it's very much subsidized, let's put it that way.
But I still can't understand. So the hot meal program in St. Kitts is free.
The hot meal program in St. Kitts, I
don't
think
pay.
the hot meal program in St. Kitts, I think, is different to what we do in Nevis. I think there's a central place where they do most of the cooking, and then the food is carried out to the school. I could stand corrected if that is not the case, but I believe that is my understanding. Here in Nevis, we have separate kitchens at the separate schools. In the primary school, basically each primary school has a kitchen, and they do their cooking there. So we have to hire cooking staff and all of those type of people. Whereas in St. Kitts, it would be one set of cooking staff, and they provide the lunches, and the lunches are carried over to the various schools. So there are some subtle differences in the way that we do things.
Okay, so far. So, will you all in the future, while you're part of education, try and see if you could get that TELS program introduced to Nevis?
Caller, actually, it is something that we are looking at. Several years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I know that the program was introduced in Nevis, and it's something that we have been having active discussions on actually.
Because Troy, many parents are suffering buying those books. It's terrible.
I am aware of
They
that, you
cannot
know.
find the money.
Okay, caller. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, you're there.
Yeah, I'm here still.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm leaving now.
I have
But please,
made a note of all of your questions, and I am going to endeavor to look into each and every one of these things. Okay, Carla?
you will know who this person will be tomorrow.
Okay. I look forward.
Okay.
All right. You have a wonderful night and a wonderful independence.
You
Let us
too.
stick to the lines. We have another caller holding. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good evening.
Yes, good
They
evening.
had self-program ready, you know.
Yes,
The
I'm
children
aware.
and them are not responsible because when they don't take care of the books and they don't bring them back and they tell the parents they have to replace them, they cost. So you can't have it both ways. You need to teach the children responsibilities. So now they're complaining. You can't, what are you complaining for? You had it. You didn't take care of it. Now you don't have it anymore. That's how life goes. Good night.
Thank you very much, caller. You have a wonderful night and a wonderful independence. Do we have another caller holding? Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night. Hello?
Hello, good evening, Troy.
Yes, you're on the mark.
On Friday, you talked about no traffic in Charlestown.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got to walk, and it's good for the health department to do this. But what about the buses and the taxis? Are they still allowed to work in town?
I believe no traffic would be no traffic. I can stand corrected. I probably should have asked that question.
Yeah, I mean, we need to find out because
Yes.
you're going to take business away from the taxis and the buses. I mean, they can't afford a day off.
I think they would be able to work on the outskirts of town.
Taxis who are going to pick up people at the pier, etc., who are visitors to the island, you can't ask them to walk.
Okay, I believe that this will be worked out. You have made an interesting point there. I think it's a good point, actually. And I believe that the good folks at Health, they're listening. And if they're not listening, I have made a note of it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a good evening and a lovely Independence
Thank you
celebration
very much, and I
tomorrow.
wish you a very, very happy independence. Okay?
Thank you very
You have
much.
a
Good night,
wonderful
Troy.
night. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark. We're creeping up on the 10 o'clock hour. We've been having a wonderful conversation tonight. The calls have been fast and furious. Before I took my first call, I was talking about the Patriots game, and I want to say congratulations to the Patriots. They had a really, really good win last night. That win kept everybody on the edge of their seats, going down to that super over. And the the skipper, Brathwaite, took it up on his shoulder, and he brought the game home for the Patriots. So I think that was a wonderful thing, and everybody can be happy about that. I want to put a plug in for youth in the federation, and I want to encourage young people to get out and do something. Too often we hear people say, "Oh, I'm young and I have a lot of time," and so on. But you know, we don't have that much time. As we are reflecting on independence, and recently we had the death of Mr. Kenrick Georges, and when he passed away at the age of 64. And I was there and I was doing a little bit of calculation, and I was saying, you know, when I was a little boy, maybe 4 or 5 years old, I heard about Kenrick Georges. And I'm saying I'm almost 40, and I was hearing about Kenrick Georges since I've known myself. So I'm saying, but wait, he has to be somebody who's way up there in age. And when I heard he died and he was 64, I said, but when I started hearing about him, he was probably in his 20s. So I did a little bit of research. So in 1983, he was 28. And here was he, the composer of the national anthem, at a very, very young age. And it goes to show that should not be a limiting factor. If you look at people like who are great people, renowned people the world over, people such as Dr. Martin Luther King, who would have led the movement in America, the civil rights movement. He was in his 20s when he was doing that. If you look at people such as the late, great Robert Nesta Marley, Bob Marley, who is probably the most well-known musical icon in the Caribbean, you know, he was in his 20s when he was producing all this great music and doing all of these great things. If you even look outside of the Caribbean and you look at people such as Bill Gates, who started Microsoft in his late teens, early 20s. You look at Steve Jobs. Everybody has an Apple phone right now. It's the in thing. You look at Steve Jobs, who was in his 20s. You look at Mark Zuckerberg. Everybody has Facebook. Mostly everybody has Facebook. If you look at all of these guys, they all started very, very young. So I want to encourage young people to get up and do things, because you can change the world. We have a caller. Caller, you are on the mark. Good night.
Good evening to all.
Good evening.
I'm just calling to wish everyone in the Federation and out of the Federation a happy independence to all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you started with some great heroes from the Federation,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think we should support those heroes more than we are doing presently.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Nevis has a lot of the great ones have come out of Nevis.
Well, there are persons who are from Nevis who have gone abroad too, and have done great things too, and have really carried themselves with distinction and have made a name for themselves in places such as New York and so on. A good example would be someone like you.
Well, the idea is, look, I mean, Nevis, some the great ones came out of Nevis. For instance, I'm with the Jamaicans and the Trinidadians, and I tell them, look, go in your wallet and pull out the $10 and see who is under $10. And it's somebody from Nevis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember years ago. Well, I'm older than you.
Mm-hmm.
We had something they called Cheney money.
No, I wouldn't be old enough to know that.
You wouldn't know that,
No.
right? If it wasn't for Alexander Hamilton, the older folks would know. They would be spending Cheney money instead of real money here,
Mm-hmm.
because he's the one who set up
The monetary
everything.
system. Yes.
The monetary system for the United States.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have one of our big stars, family came from Westbury there, Cicely Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have the Bakers here, who, council members, first council persons here, and their family, they're from Nevis.
Mm-hmm.
So quite a number of people. We need to be proud. We need to be really proud of ourselves
And
and pat ourselves on the back.
it's important that that history is known, because I of course I know about Hamilton. I'm very well read on Hamilton. I've read a few different books on him, but how many people would take the time to go and read, and Cicely Tyson to know her story? How many people would know of her family origins and so on? And the last set of people you spoke about, the Bakers, you just educated me, because I did not know about that before.
Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot of people out here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who came from the families out of Nevis, and we have made us a name for ourselves here, because Divisions, and people from the Federation, St. Kitts and Nevis are very proud people. So again, we're not going to come in last.
Of course not. 'Cause
You understand me?
we've always been at the front. We're small, but we've always been at the front.
Like they say, we're small, but we're Talawa.
Yes.
Okay? And we just got to support each other. That's how we're going to get further in life.
That is so true.
And again, you're doing a good job.
But we continue to try. We continue to do our best, and we are definitely not afraid of constructive criticism where we have fallen short.
Right. I mean, you know, we are from Nevis. I mean, I had to tell well, in my company, I have quite a number of Trinidadians, Jamaicans, Guyanese, people from all over. And I just, the whole week, the Patriots made us proud, because I could tell the Jamaicans, we just knock you guys off, and the Trinidadians.
And we gave Trinidad their first loss.
All the today, we and the Trinidadians backhand, because they have a way to call us small island people. And then you get into some circles and you talk to people and you say, well, you're from Nevis, and they're asking you,
where is that?
What part in Jamaica is that? So then you have to really educate them. And again, on the people out here, especially, they're making us proud. Because, I mean, we go on Eastern Parkway, and the St. Kitts Nevis flag flies high, just like any other flag.
I normally fly there by my aunt's house, right at the start of the parade, right
on Eastern
Utica,
Parkway.
Eastern Parkway,
Right,
Utica.
Utica and Eastern Parkway.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I walked there last time. But the people are more, they're prouder. And I heard Mr. Stanley, I heard on the mark last night.
And let's talk.
And I can tell you, from unity, from we have unity, we have more. St. Kitts and Nevis have been getting together more than ever out here in the U.S. At one time, St. Kitts had their parties, and Nevis had their parties. You follow me? But now, when there is a function, you have, a number of, sometimes 50% Kittitians, 50% Nevisians.
And that is how it should be, because we are one people.
Right. Well, it was not like that before. It was not like that before. And come the 26th, I think the Prime Minister would be here in the Bronx. And normally, it's a Kittitian thing, but not anymore. You're going to have the percentage of Nevisians almost equal to the percentage of Kittitians. So we are moving together more than ever. All right?
Okay.
And again, we just have to support. We just have to give the support to get the country, keep the country going forward.
That is definitely true. And I want to thank you for calling in. It's always good to hear from you. And it's always good to let people know that we have Nevisians, not just here, but overseas, who are doing well and making the island proud. And that is very important, because it takes people to carry that name out there. I mean, some people will say here that somebody like Hamilton never did anything for anybody here in Nevis, But Hamilton left here when he was a boy, a little boy, went to St. Croix and then went up to the big United States. And guess what? The only founding father of that big juggernaut of a country that was not an American, right, was a Nevisian. All the rest of them were American, The only one that was not an American, the only one who was a foreigner, was a Nevisian, and
Right.
and he was not just an ordinary founding father. He was the one who wrote the Federalist Papers, most of them. And the Federalist Papers were what were used to justify the actual forming of the United States of America, because most persons only wanted a loose confederation of states with a weak central government. And he was the one who actually pushed for a strong central government. He was the one who actually pushed for assuming all of the debts from all of the states and so on. So he wasn't an ordinary founding father. He was a founding father who actually pushed for the country to be a strong entity.
Right, but Troy, the idea is, the small-minded person would mention, well, he never sent back a barrel.
But there were no barrels in those days.
Yeah, but at the same time, look at the break off from he being born there. The number of people who came back, well, not who came back. The number of persons who came to Nevis just because he was born in Nevis.
That is true, and he's becoming more popular now. And you see, when history is written by the winners in a sort of way, but as time goes by, people reevaluate the history, and the history is now being reevaluated, and people are seeing like the actual real importance of this gentleman. People are really now evaluating his actual contribution, and I'm sure as this continues, and people start to see more and more, they will really see that, this guy, his impact was way bigger than what it was thought initially, and Nevis will be all the better for it.
But Troy is the biggest show ever come on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The biggest show ever come on Broadway is somebody's name or the person who came out of Nevis, Hamilton. I
All right.
talk about millions and millions and millions of that.
All right, my brother, I need to give a couple other callers an opportunity to get in. The phones have been ringing off. I want to thank you for the call, and enjoy the independence.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Let us stick with the line, or we've lost those callers. Callers, please do call back in. We have about 2 more minutes to take calls, because I want to play a little special song before we go, probably in the last 5 minutes of the show. I want to encourage everybody to come on out tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. to the park, the E.T. Willett Park. We're going to have the uniform bodies and so on will be on display. We're going to have the Independence Parade. I think it's a good thing. Bring the children, get up early, come out. It's a holiday. Bring the children out, let them see the people on the parade on display and so on. And let us celebrate St. Kitts and Nevis. Let us celebrate our 36th year of being an independent nation. Let us be thankful for the opportunities that we have as a nation. Let us be thankful for the freedoms that we have every single day. These are things that we cannot take for granted. We are one federation, and I'm going to play a song. I'm going to leave you with this song. Of course, the show is going to be. Are we rebroadcasting tomorrow, seeing it's Independence Day? Well, we're not sure if we're going to rebroadcast tomorrow, but we're going to play the song "One Federation." And we're gonna leave it here for tonight. I want to thank everybody who called in and thank everybody who listened. And we're gonna leave you with this song, "One Federation." Have a wonderful independence.
A country where peace are bound. 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 Together we can make it, but only if we try. They claim we're the must work.